let's take... All right, everybody. So I've got the pins for lab that I pulled off of my component sheet. So let me bring this over to the other one. So Elijah, I don't think yours has changed, but it's possible everybody else has. So let's make on the Google Doc. Elijah, you have, it's on the Google Doc. You have 21, 16, and 12. It's the same thing as what yours used to be, okay?
Yep.
And then I've got, Ronan, you're going to be on 62, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
X. Okay, 192.168.2.62. So Ethan and Soren, you guys are on 61s again, and your pins should be the same, okay? You see that on the doc?
Let me check.
I got Ethan at 21, 16, and 12. 21, 16, and 12. Soren, you got 25, 24, 23.
I think I'm on the wrong doc.
25, 24, and 23. This is the GUI notes doc, dude. And then Ronan, you're at...
I'm on that.
I need to change yours. Well, at the very bottom. At the bottom for today, yeah, it's dated 2020, April 28. Okay?
Okay.
So this is in the Stoplight 01. Ronan, your pins are not going to be accurate here. Ronan is going to be on 12. 12 for green. Who is making so much noise in the background? 20 is yellow. Who's making all that noise, man? It's getting old. 16 is your red.
My brother is watching YouTube.
Well, tell him to put headphones on, man. Okay. You guys should have all your pins on the document there. Okay, so this is stoplight number 1. Okay, so my pins that I have set here are just 13, 19, and 26. So this is like basically the same as Ethan 2's. So I guess I can start using Raspberry Pi 60 and take over on Ethan 2's side. Okay. Does everybody have their GUI directory initialized? And does everybody have the GIF pictures? This part is the part that's different from the homework. So if you look, I basically have expanded my layout a little bit, but you don't absolutely have to. I have the same thing with the row choice and the set color. And the same thing all down here. Okay? So the biggest differences are going to be this button. We're calling the set color function, which before set color all it did was print in function. So now we have a bunch of if statements. Okay? Is everybody following along? Can I get a yes from everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Elijah, I'm on your Raspberry Pi now, and I'm going to be working on my pins on 13, 19, and 26, okay? So when we push the button, this push button right here, it calls the function set color. The text on the button is set color. This is all the stuff from the homework, okay? So then up here, it goes off of your row choice. So if row choice.value equals yellow, then we manipulate our LEDs. You guys see this?
Oh.
Does everybody see my screen well?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to leave this right here.
Change my directory real quick.
Oh my. Should I put this up here? It's not working. Fine, be that way.
Why is it not changing my directory?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I require.
So I'm pushing my wood there. Does anybody have questions as far as what we're doing and why? So I don't want to
No.
get going too far beyond without you guys knowing what's happening.
I'm just trying to choose my directory for the GUI file.
So, Elijah, I'm going to take over Ethan's terminal. Okay. Back in that?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. So I'm bringing it up on my screen here too, so I can record it for Ethan too. So if I choose red and I hit set color, it changes it. Yellow, set color, it goes to yellow. Green, set color, it goes to green. Basic process here, but it's important for everybody to grasp how this works logically, okay? So I want you to look specifically within my function. I have these 3 separate if statements, and this should be relatively straightforward for everybody to understand. The first thing that's happening, as you can see right here, is we're changing, well, actually, the first thing that's happening is we're printing to the terminal, okay? And then we're changing the robot image to whatever we have chose. So since the selector equals yellow for this if statement, it changes over to the yellow image. And again, it indicates where it's supposed to be. And then it makes sure red is off, make sure green off, and then turn yellow on. Yes, Elijah?
I'm just going to steal yours here because my one isn't working.
I can type it for you, dude. Here, let me type that for you, Elijah.
I just need you just take the one. That's all I need.
Okay, there you go. Oops, sorry. I deselected. Go ahead. Push the set
I
color
didn't
button.
do the red right. Oh,
There it goes. So I'm going to scroll down here.
Is it working on changing the LED lights?
The one thing I don't have on mine yet is the image that is supposed to initialize. So that is this right here. So since the default on the row selector is red, then I'm going to default my image display as the red as well, okay? So I don't see that, and that's why it didn't launch at the beginning. So I'm going to hit save on that. I'll transfer that over.
I have the code right here for it.
Stoplight1.py, and everybody should have the GIFs in theirs.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bringing that down to my screen so you guys can see this here as well. And then I'm going to execute mine. Oops, Elijah's doing his, okay.
I'll show you.
Yep, there. So that's exactly what we wanted, Elijah.
Chris, I
So
accidentally stabbed my finger with a pencil, so I'm gonna
Don't stab your finger with the pencil then.
clean it off.
All right, I'm closing yours,
I
Elijah.
got this new cool wireless mouse, but it has a docking station.
That's not horrible. All right, so mine's doing the same thing. All right, so I've got these going. Now, what's supposed to happen when you push the button
Don't worry.
is it's supposed to go into this function, and I'm hoping everybody's tracking. These are relatively basic if statements that we've all done before, where within these, though, we're changing not only the image that's on our GUI, but we're changing the value of our GPIO outputs. Okay? One thing that's going to be important is to make sure you turn everything off except for the one thing that needs to be turned on with that if statement. Otherwise, if you have it on red and then you go to turn on green without turning off red, then both green and red will stay on. So that's why we have to have red off, green off, and then yellow on. Now also, if you recognize these numbers right here, yours will be different based on what I have on your Google Docs. Okay, guys?
Okay.
So, Elijah, is that you right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see your... There you go.
Is yellow on?
Yellow is on. You should be able to look through the camera as well.
Yeah, I know. Red.
And red.
Which one is mine? Because it's like it's on green right now.
It is on green right now, but you selected, push the, you have to push the set color button in order for that function to be called.
I know. I did get the button.
All right, let's go through and work through it then. That's red.
I think I must have my pins backwards.
Okay. And then notice when you close the program, it should shut off all your LEDs. Can everybody see their LEDs in this camera image here? Oh, looks like this light is off.
If Soren can, then I can. I'm coding.
I can't see mine.
I'm turning it a touch. Your LEDs are off right now, Ronan, but they're right here. If you see where my finger is, you see that?
Nope.
Are you looking through my camera view?
Mm-hmm.
Click on the family Schaefer and the meat.
I am.
Is it pinned?
I can only see part of the one breakout one.
So you see the other two big ones, though, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then you likely will just have to click on the image because you probably have everybody on the list on the right-hand side. So if you click on the image itself, then that'll go away. You see that?
Oh, right,
sure.
yeah.
You good?
Then, yeah.
Okay.
Let me quickly make sure I can see mine. I was coding.
So if you don't have it, or if you're not sure what you need, as far as your GPIO pins, it should all be on the Google Doc of who's assigned to what pins. Okay?
I think I'm good.
Then I think I might have mentioned to you guys I have more Raspberry Pi coming, and then I need to get a couple more T adapters and breadboards, and then everybody can have their own Raspberry Pi. Elijah, it looks like I got you going with your red and your green. So I just saw red and green, and there's your yellow.
And there's the close.
And that is still recording for Ethan. Now, I don't have all the lights on right now because I think if we blast it with too much light, then it'll be difficult to even see the LEDs.
I forget what mine was.
I got this almost like electronics put together kit thing because I did like a Goldberg machine
I think I'm on yellow.
Oh, yeah?
for some competition, and it's
For your class?
crazy how much. No, not for my class. It's just something my mom found,
Oh.
and it's crazy how much work must have gone in to make all these electronics work together. Because you can plug them in the dumbest way possible, and it all still works.
Interesting.
Right now I have just 3 of them, and it goes power, proximity sensor, servo. And when I put my hand close to the proximity sensor, the servo changes where it's at.
Ah,
That's cool.
that's fun. Are you at your mom's house right now, Elijah?
Yeah.
That's probably why your audio is breaking up then. I can almost tell just because your broadband sounds good. Elijah, since you have completed your program, what I think would be cool for you and why I have you on 60 is instead of having just red, yellow, and green, why don't you have another one for buzz on and then turn the buzzer on and off when you click that one and hit set color. Okay?
Interesting.
Let's see what it will take to do that. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but your buzzer is set to pin 25, okay?
Okay.
So that would be a little, we'll call it extra credit for Elijah. What I want to do is get some more buzzers in too, but all the shipping stuff is always delayed. It'll be really cool once we get the sonar systems. I'll teach you guys how to do distance sensing. And we've got a couple other things that I got planned for our stoplight process and a couple other things going on. I think we'll make it through stoplight 1 and 2 today, and then we'll move on to stoplight 3 and onward on Thursday. Thursday. All right, so I've got somebody. Oh, that's... So what you got going on here, Ronan? Uh-oh. Picture is not defined. Do you have picture on your include on the top, Elijah? I'm sorry, Ronan? Are you looking at my screen, dude? Ronan, are you listening to me?
Yeah, I have a picture.
Okay. Up on the top, you have to make sure to import picture. And then right here, this is where you're setting the picture. But then down here is where you initialize the picture.
That's all I did.
So I'm not sure, honestly, why you can have robot. Aha, there you go. So this one, I still have the robot in there because I copied this line from my old code. So, but it's all the same on the entire thing. I could, instead of calling it robot, I can call it stoplight or anything else, but I would need to change it for all of them. Okay, while you guys are working on putting that code together, I'm going to run to the bathroom, and hopefully we'll get this finished up, and we can move on to stoplight number 2. Anybody have any questions before I leave?
No.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
All right. I don't know what we're doing right now.
All right, you were freaking murdering your finger.
Okay, so basically, my fingernail grew into the skin, so it got infected, and so I stabbed my finger with a pencil for various reasons. That sounds kind of gross to explain.
Yeah,
You stabbed your finger with a pencil because it was infected?
It's a long story. Do you want the details? Because they're fairly gross. Okay,
Sure.
so then I put hydrogen peroxide and isopropyl alcohol and stuff and some Neosporins and put it in Band-Aids, so I don't know what I'm doing. Ethan?
Yes?
Permission to copy your code over? Or
Look at Chris's screen.
oh.
I'm not even done.
What we're doing right now?
Yeah, look at the screen if you want.
Oh crap. How do I can't type with that?
This is a capital yes. What? Oh my god.
You know what's kind of weird? If you stab your finger with a pencil, it bleeds.
Oh wow.
That is quite odd.
The veins went up to the tip of my finger.
That's so weird that you stabbed your finger with a pencil and it bleeds.
So why did you stab your finger with a pencil?
Jesus.
It's fairly gross sounding.
I don't even want to
Sounds like something that was a good idea.
It was a good idea.
Oh,
Even for me. It was one of my good ideas. Maybe not a good idea in your standard, but my standards are significantly lower.
That is true. Your standards are very low.
And I'm going to clean it out.
Alrighty, guys.
Lauren's back from murdering
Recording. Alright. Who's going on? What's going on? Hi, going on. Elijah, your red light's on.
Yep.
Okay, who's got trouble? I've got Elijah up on my screen.
Lauren murdered his finger.
Chris, ready? I'm
Yes,
gonna change
Elijah,
it to
I'm
green.
ready. And it beeped once?
Ella.
Yeah, when you change it, it beeps.
When you push the button, it beeps? Nice. Beep. So it only goes green only beeps for green, or it beeps for all of them?
It beeps for all of them.
Cool. Now, one thing
so
that's...
I just was messing around with these circuit things, and I put the servo, I put a really long arm on the servo, and then put the arm so it would go above the proximity sensor when there was nothing that it could see. So now it just goes back and forth because it the proximity sensor detects the arm, so it moves it to the side, and then it doesn't detect anything, so it puts the arm back on top of itself, and he just keeps going back and forth.
They made an
Nice.
amazing infinite loop.
The cool part is that stuff that you can do, what you can integrate within your Raspberry Pi stuff as well. All right, who do we got there? That's Soren or Ethan? That's Ronan.
It would be cool if I could integrate these. I don't know if I could.
No.
All right, Ronan, what you got, man?
Boy, likes to murder his finger.
So I see your light changed, right? Oh, there's your yellow. I see your yellow on. And your red's on. Your green is not on. Is it your... now, it could be a couple different things. It could be your code, or it could be the actual LED that's having an issue. Are you for sure your LED or your code's right? And that is pin 21 for you.
Wait, I thought it was
What's it look
20.
like? No, 20 is yellow. 21 is green. 16 is red.
12.
Oh, no, it's 21. Did I put it wrong on the dock? Oh, yep, I put 12 on the dock, so that is my mistake, Ronan. I just fixed it there. So your 21 is your green, dude.
Okay.
All right, Elijah, you got yours working plus the buzzer. What do you have, Soren and Ethan 1? How's it going over there?
Working on it.
Now, I also have this other circuit in here. There you go, Ronan. I see it. I got another circuit over here, which we haven't played with yet, guys, but this is an analog conversion circuit, essentially. So we can start tinkering with analog stuff later on, because all of the Raspberry Pi stuff is all digital input-output. All right, Ronan, I saw all your lights turning on.
Ah!
Who's hollering?
Hey.
Things.
What'd you say, Elijah?
I'm just messing with the sound sensor, so now when I scream at it, a light turns on.
Yeah, you should play that code that plays all those songs.
I think that would be like
Now, which...
flashlight. That's how you turn it on and off. You just gotta scream at it.
So when you want light, you scream? That's an interesting method.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because then you don't have to use your hands for anything. It's like you gotta see something. Ah!
No, you read the book underneath.
Does it turn off when you stop screaming, Elijah?
Yeah, it does.
Oh my. All right, Soren and Ethan 1, what are you guys doing? We're ready to move on. Are you guys done yet?
We're getting close. Or I am.
Trying to code.
Ah! Ah!
Okay. All right, why don't you guys finish up doing what you're doing, but for Ronan and Elijah, we're going to move on to Stoplight number 2.
What if it
You
works?
guys got to get Stoplight 1 working.
Ooh, even the buzzer. So now when you yell at it, it'll yell at you back.
Chris,
Ah!
Eli,
No, wait, I just realized something. The buzzer makes noise, so it keeps itself on.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Elijah and Ronan, we're moving on to Stoplight number 2. Okay?
Okay.
I want you to, for one, notice that I have, as opposed to if statements, I have broken them into separate functions. So I have set color red, set color yellow, set color green. And in order to do that now, I have separate push buttons for every color that I would like to have. And what I am going to do is transfer that over to my Raspberry Pi / Eliza Raspberry Pi and execute that so you can see how that's going to look, okay? Elijah, I'm closing yours. I'm bringing this one down so everybody can see my screen right now, right?
I'm on the Google Doc, but
Well, look over at my screen then so you can see my screen. Okay, so I'm on the coach, LS, so I'm going to do a Pi. Okay. Okay, so that
So you just
is
do a
the
bunch of
program
them.
itself. So we have 3 buttons as opposed to the button group. So do a file, save as, stoplight 02. We just finished 01, so this is stoplight 02. Upon launching, I want the red light image displayed, but not the LED on. And then when you press the red button, you have, as we can see over here, separate functions for every button. Okay? When you push the red button, it executes the red function. When you press the red or the yellow button, executes the yellow function. Green button, green function.
Green time?
So again, the difference between this one and the last one is, as opposed to a single function and multiple ifs, we have multiple functions and no ifs and 3 buttons as opposed to 1 button. Everybody good? Any questions?
No.
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good.
Execute. And this will be our last program for today, and we'll move on to Stoplight 3 on Thursday.
See.
I was wondering why my colors weren't showing up, and then I realized I put deaf instead of deaf.
Yeah, that probably won't work too well.
No! Guess I'm getting errors.
Why are you getting errors?
I don't know.
You're still working on
Why?
Stoplight number 1, correct?
Yup.
Well, let me switch. Actually, I don't have to switch that over. I can just grab the VNC of 61, and you are the right side. Runtime error. Please set pin numbering mode using GPIO set mode.board. Okay, so you don't have your initialization proper at the top. You have GPIO .setup 23 GPIO .out. What are you doing wrong? And that's still the homework. I'm hoping you're not saving this as homework because you're supposed to be doing it as Stoplight 01.
Crap.
So that means you have overwritten your homework file and no longer have your homework file. You're a bad boy.
No, I have added on to it.
Yeah, but you don't have your original. So
When
this is
you
what I
add a
have.
to a house, you don't say
GPIO .setup and then your pin number, comma, GPIO .out.
Wait, I couldn't hear you.
I'm guessing you have on my screen, I'm going to make an assumption that you have 8 through 10 set up with your pins, but you don't have this part done. Do you have GPIO.setup, GPIO.BCM?
No. No, I
Okay,
do
that's
not.
going to be your problem. Because it does not know how to call that pin unless you set up for board or BCM. Board is directly off of the Raspberry Pi, while BCM is your breadboard here with your T adapter.
I realize I actually have to add more. I believe I need these.
Okay, and this is supposed to be, again, Stoplight 01, Soren, so fix it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So.
I'm surprised you're not going to make him recreate the homework just so he can have it.
You should, just for good beating. All right, Elijah, I've got my program running on this Raspberry Pi. Does anybody need to be able to see my GUI
Right now,
for reference?
Like,
God,
I'm
win it.
yours.
One. Right.
What's up, Elijah?
Right now, I'm trying to make mine without looking at yours.
Okay. I'm going to close my GUI. So Ethan 1 and Soren, we're still working on Stoplight 1, and Ronan and Elijah should be working on the Stoplight 2. Is that correct?
Yes, and mine is. What is wrong?
Chris,
Okay. Yes, Ronan.
can you scroll down?
Yes, well, you have a question on something?
I'm
Invalid syntax.
actually, I just have to do the buttons. So
Okay, that's just 3 buttons, and then I increment downward. Okay, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I did that error correctly.
Fix that one, Soren.
Yep.
Okay, it says picture is not defined.
Open
Am I supposed to capitalize light?
I imagine actually,
Or no, picture.
yes. Look at this on my screen, capital P. See, all these little things super matter, guys.
That's why I like building. Less little things matter, more big things matter.
No, little things matter a whole lot. That's why you have robots sometimes that will have itty-bitty little problems, and they're so deep into the system that you don't want to fix it because it's difficult and you didn't get it right the first time. Eh?
And then your entire robot fails.
I had a very basic thing I didn't even see.
Soren, I think what you just said is absolutely the opposite of the real world.
I know.
You just said in engineering, details don't matter. That's literally what you just said. I think that's wrong.
Now 114.
I think it is possible that that is wrong.
All right, Elijah, you just executed yours. However, it's trying to do something for road choice, and you shouldn't have a road choice.
Yeah, I know.
Come on! Oh yeah!
Hey, all right, Soren, let me see it. Set your LEDs for your set color.
Set color. No.
Did you do it? Oh, error, GPIOP. Huh.
Oh,
Pretty sure it's
God.
supposed to be GPIO, not GPIOP.
I spelled GPIO with a P.
Yes, sir.
Accidentally. The first time in there, Command C, Command V.
You're like as bad as Ethan
So
was.
I have to delete this whole row of P's.
So
Is this
that sounds like a
Soren or
bad
mine?
Elijah. I'm sorry, not Elijah.
Is this one Soren or mine that popped up?
That's mine. Don't
Okay.
touch it or I will murder you. Unless we close
Boy.
it. You can close it.
Road choice dot value equals
Yes.
yellow. What's my invalid syntax?
Hi.
It's that I have an invalid
What'd you say, Elijah?
syntax.
I said hi.
Hi, Elijah.
On line 14.
All right, Ronan, how you doing? You're working on homework 1, or I'm sorry, stoplight 1, correct? Stoplight 2.
Mhm.
Boy, I'm almost slicing
Yeah.
backwards and upside down. Hey, when I was upstairs, did the phone ring?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yes.
thought. Okay. When we're done with class, I have to figure out who's trying to call me.
What is my invalid syntax? I need an if statement. The code with an if statement. What is my invalid syntax? Pulley
Nope,
plot.
Ronan, I see your green lights on. Elijah, I'm putting a temperature humidity sensor laying on your breadboard as well.
Cool.
All right, Ronan, I see a green LED. Is your yellow and red working yet?
Me?
Nope, there's yellow.
I think it was homework.
I didn't even change that part. Why is it mad about that?
Yeah!
I got all kinds of LEDs working now, don't I?
Yep.
What is the code wrong? Do I? Oh, it's probably because I didn't close it. That might be why.
Why is this invalid?
Is there something wrong with my if statements?
What?
Are you having an issue with stoplight 1?
I see what I did.
Yeah.
Chris, look
Elijah,
at
you
number
just asked-
60.
60? What do you got
Yeah.
going on over here?
I need that one.
All right, I'm looking, Elijah.
Yay, it worked.
I see yours, Ronan. Uh-oh,
Hey,
what was
Ethan,
that?
that's mine. That's mine.
Yeah, Ronan and Soren just ran, but I think Ethan won. You just had a crazy error.
That was yours. Whoops.
Elijah, are you going to run something?
I accidentally
Yeah, I did.
closed
I want
the
to look at the
program.
syntax.
Oh, light. Invalid syntax. Since it's pointing at that specific spot, I imagine you have an error with the line prior to that and not actually on line 15.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mine's having a crazy error. Are any of my lights on?
I see that. It looks like it's having a problem with the library that you're calling because something else is funky. Soren, yours is working.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Red.
Oh, I hear the buzzer too.
No, it's not doing green.
It's not doing green. What's wrong?
Doing
Oh, it's not.
green.
So check your if statement. Something's funky when you push your button. It's not finding the green. Okay, Ethan 1, you're having an error. Why don't you go, let's see.
Oh wait, I didn't update it.
Go up to the top of that error, line 21 in set color. Robot equals picture, app, blah, 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 blah. It does not like what you have set there for your set picture. And then it complains about the GUI.
Yeah.
Okay, but the light, the LED changed, but your picture does not change, young man. It says green bean selected. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I don't know what's going on with mine.
It does say
Well, I just told you, dude.
Chris. I need a new program.
I need to close that. If you have to close anything, I'm actually top of this.
It's unhappy with the way you have your picture stuff. It's the exception in TK Inter callback. Now, if you notice all those other ones, that's referencing the library itself. No such file or directory, stoplight-red.gif. You not have that in your directory. You'll see you're on 61, so I'll bring up my FileZilla.
Oh, of course that's it.
Did you guys did you capitalize it? That could be why.
Yeah, it's capital. I thought it was a capital red.
Oh, so it's all lowercase,
No.
so you just didn't put it in right?
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
it's saying.
details, Batman. Yeah, that's
I know.
all the
You're
image
messing about it.
names are all lowercase.
I have a foot-long error message about a capital letter.
Yes, because everything traces back then to that library. All right, looks like Ethan 1 is operational.
Are
So
my
your
lights
red works.
Mine's operational. I just have to do a quick new
Oh,
program.
you just had another error. You're calling 16, but you don't have 16 initialized by the looks of it.
Really?
Well, yeah. Look at your output.
Need a new program.
I have all of them. Oh, that's why. It's all your pins. That's why it's not initializing.
Yeah, you got to set it up with the proper pins and make sure that pin is set as an output. Right there at the end, it says GPIO channel has not been set up as an output.
I have the outputs here, but I didn't change the pin numbers.
Aha.
I don't think I do that. Oh my god, I must be late. I'm tired.
All right, Elijah, have you finished Stoplight 2?
Yes.
You have the buzzer going as well, eh?
Yes. Ready?
Oh, yep. Switch over to red. Let me see your yellow.
Okay.
And now there's that.
There's your yellow, and it goes beep 2. And green, and there's your beep. Cool. Well, yours is operational then. Does it shut the LEDs off when you close?
Let's see if mine works.
Did it?
Oh, yep, it did.
Did mine work, Chris?
All right, Elijah. Well, that is the end of today's class because it is 4:35. If you want to tinker around, you are welcome to do so, or you can call it quits and go play with your other stuff in the yellow circuit board.
Chris?
Oh,
Chris,
what is
mine work?
the latch? I wonder what a latch is.
Well, for one, you can look at the camera. Let's see. Is that you running the program right now? So that's your yellow. I see a yellow on. Okay, go red. Ethan 1.
change it. Green, what color?
What pins are you, Ethan? 1?
21, 6, let me check, sorry.
Are you 21, 20, and 16?
21, 16, 12.
21, 16, 12. Okay, yeah. Your 12 is your red, your 16 is your yellow, and your 21 is your green. So right now your yellow is on. Is anything else? What else you got going on there?
I selecting green, it's not selected.
Green is not on.
Off. Try the
Check
next.
you're on stoplight 1, so your if statements might not be operational. Your red is still on, or your yellow is still on too, dude. It looks like the only man.
Auto turns my yellow on, that's weird.
Huh?
It automatically turns my yellow on.
Well, it does whatever you tell it to do, man.
This kit is really weird because it comes with all these different sensors, but it doesn't come with any sort of switch or button.
Soren, what are you doing?
I am nuking.
Okay, why are you nuking? Because you're supposed to be
To
doing
turn
your
off my
work.
green light.
Should be in your code.
Is my yellow light 16?
All right, Soren, have you finished? You have not finished stoplight 01 yet.
No, I did. It's just I just didn't nuke program to turn off the light.
Well, when you close the program, it's supposed to shut them off. So that since it's not happening, that means it's not finished.
Well, I had the unbig brain. I did not. So
All right, we'll finish it up, man. You're supposed to be doing stoplight 1, and then stoplight 2 is changing it from if statements to push buttons. Hey, Ronan, is yours working?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to keep tinkering with it, or you want to call it a day?
I want to call it a day.
Okay, well, you are welcome to get offline. Your program is operational, and I will see you on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm gonna file save this.
Okay, goodbye, Ronan.
File save as. Stoplight 02.
Okay, so stoplight 2 is transitioning from the if statements to doing push buttons. Is that Elijah?
Bye.
Okay, goodbye, Elijah.
So I can basically get rid of this whole function and all the ifs?
Well, no, not necessarily. If you look at, like, from what we talked about, if you look at my screen again,
Yep.
those if statements are essentially being turned into separate functions. Do you see this? So wherein I'll switch over to my stoplight 1, for example. See how we have all of this stuff right here? See for the yellow? This if statement for yellow, if you look at all the code that's in there, in essence, that's all the same code as what we have right here. You see that?
Oh, yeah. So I just need to... So I don't need all the ifs. Oh, I actually need separate functions for each one.
Well, because let's go back and review how stoplight 01 works. You have the push button initializer that pulls whatever your button group is set to, being red, yellow, or green. Now, as opposed to pulling that information, let's remember it goes up to set color as that function when you push the button.
Yeah.
Right there. Instead of doing that, now we have 3 separate buttons. So if you look at these if statements, this is a single function with 3 if statements. Stoplight 2 is 3 functions and no if statements. So what's happening down here is 3 separate buttons. Your button for red calls the red function. Your button for yellow calls the yellow function. Your button for green calls the green function, and they are named accordingly. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So now you basically just whatever button the user pushes will execute these separate functions, turn off the ones that are supposed to be off, and turn on the one for that specific function. as well as changing the image on the graphical user interface or the GUI.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So you're essentially, it's similar as far as the program goes, but the functionality changes. So as opposed to a button group, again, where you choose red, green, or yellow, and a set set color button, we just have 3 separate buttons.
So I don't need this if statement, so I can.
I will launch mine. So basically, you can just make 3 separate functions and put those if statements into those functions of where they're supposed to be. And I'm going to bring my
Stoplight.
GUI over here. You see this? So this is what it's supposed to look like. You got your image right here. Then you have your red button, your yellow button, your green button. And all of those buttons go back to those functions. Within those functions, the first thing it does is it changes the image on the GUI, and then it turns off every LED except for the one that's supposed to be on, and then it turns that one on. You tracking?
Yeah.
Okay. Soren, how are you doing?
I am currently working on that.
Okay.
What's my pin for red is 12. I'm gonna turn this pin to high. Okay. And then I can probably just copy this. I can probably just copy this whole thing over.
Basically, your if statement. Well, that's why, the first thing you should be doing with Stoplight 1 is saving it as Stoplight 02.
I did.
And then you manipulate, as opposed to having the one function, you can just get rid of that function, and instead of the if, make it a separate function. So that if basically just falls back into a function.
It's kind of what I'm doing. I can just copy this over as
Chris.
I believe.
Yes, Soren.
Oh, wait, that's...
Control C. I can probably get rid of all those, but I'll delete one at a time. Control. Well, that Shift V, Control V. That paste it. I don't need that. Need to die. I'll do yellow. What's my yellow pen? I believe my yellow pen is 16. And that bottomless pit away, all the way, all the way. Keep going.
Who is singing?
That's me. Simple child. Got way to teach on your chair. Low, 12 is high.
How's it going, boys?
Good.
Almost.
I got all the functions. That's it. Do the functions have to be named set color yellow, or can they just be named like yellow, red, green?
Well, that is two questions, really. That is what will work and what would be best practice. You can name it just about anything you want as long as they're all the same. However, it would be ideal to have it named something that makes sense for that specific function, which is why I have my function called set color red. You can name it pick your nose if you want, but that would be a ridiculous name for a function.
So now I need to copy over. Well, first of all, I
What
need to
if
make
the
some.
function was for a robot that would pick your nose?
Well, then that would be different. That would be something applicable. If you happen to build a robot just for nose picking, I don't see that as something you might be doing anytime soon.
Yeah,
I can see you doing that all the time.
No, my bandage on my finger prevents me from picking my nose, so I had to build a robot to do it.
Oh, my Lanta.
Wow, Soren. Wow. Just wow.
Chris,
Can you scroll down to the all the buttons,
that's what I was gonna say.
push buttons?
You mean the code for the actual button pushing?
Yes. That
That should
sounds
be pretty
weird.
simplistic. It's just the push button, and that calls to the separate functions.
Oh yeah, I just have to
Do
change.
we need that GPIO cleanup thing or whatever? What does that do?
That's right here at the very end.
So that just turns them all off.
Yeah, well, like you know how when you initialize them up top, it may not be an actual issue in the long run. However, it's best practice to make sure to close everything up and clean. Basically, that's what the cleanup is for. Is you're no longer having them set to outputs. You're just basically setting them back to a null or just a ready state. So
I just did just turn them all to low.
well, that means you're turning them off, but if you turn them all to low, that also means they're already set up as outputs then. So it's usually best to just do your cleanup so it goes back to original state. So you can reuse them on another program and not have a potential interference or problems. I mean, a lot of things could happen. It's not a guarantee that it will happen, but things can happen. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you're better off to do a cleanup. Now, also, as you recall, on some of the programs we did at the very beginning, we didn't always use cleanup. We didn't run into any issues, but that doesn't mean that you won't ever. That's why we started doing the GPIO.cleanup. Because if you run a program that does something, and then you execute another program that tries to use those same pins for something else, you could have an issue. Or if somebody else does it, then you could have an issue. Or any number of different things, you could have issues. So it's basically just good practice to go ahead and do your cleanup when you close it out.
Chris,
Yes.
for doing all the push buttons, I need one more of these, correct? Of this group to set the push button.
I'm not sure what you mean these in this group.
I mean, what I have highlighted.
Oh, I can't see your screen. Let me see if I can see what you got going on. Are you doing a presentation? You are doing a presentation, so let me see what you're doing. Okay. Well, that's your row choice, but you're on Stoplight 2, so you're no longer doing a button group.
Oh, so I don't need these?
Yeah, you're doing separate button groups. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Look at you. You're doing it different and wrong. That's really what it comes down to. So you're doing, I see you have a red button group and a yellow button group. Your button group is what you had for Stoplight 01, where you had that horizontal option of red, yellow, or green. But now we're not doing that. We are doing separate entire buttons.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at my screen, you see I have a red button, a yellow button, and a green button. So in reality, what you need to do is get rid of that, and you have your set what's supposed to be light color. And then the push button. You need 3 push buttons, and light is L-I-G-H-T.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need 3 separate buttons, and they should all be called something different. And they should. I see you have your functions going of set color yellow, set color green. So you're going to want to get rid of your button groups. So go ahead and delete those. And you're on Stoplight 2. So then what I would do is take your push button, that whole line of code on 37.
Yeah.
Okay, if you take that whole thing, copy that, and make 2 extra copies. And I would also keep them all in a row. Don't separate them with the light. Just keep them all in a row so you can have that section of your buttons all together. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yep, push enter a couple times. There you go. Now push enter again. Push it. There you go. Okay, so now you need to change that. Hold on, Soren. So you have your set color. So you have one for set color red, one for set color yellow, one for set color green. And then each one of those buttons will be calling separate functions. Now you also notice you have grid 1, 3 on all of them. You need to have those set for a separate location on your GUI. So if you notice on mine, for example, the first one is 1, 1, the second one is 1, 2, and the third one is 1, 3. That way they line up vertically, one on top of each other. Just like that. Yep, good job.
All on top.
So, and the text is also not going to be set color. That should coordinate to whatever color it's going to be, okay? So go ahead and work on that. What's up, Soren?
Could you click on the screen with the code on it?
On my screen, you mean?
Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting everything.
Someone from New Jersey is calling.
Why?
Okay, I'm going to bring mine back to mine. I think for both of you, it's important to be paying attention to these details and proper case, being uppercase and lowercase, and proper spelling. Because I think some of these very small little things will set you guys behind, such as using a lowercase p instead of an uppercase p.
Yes, it's annoying.
Yep, that's life.
Okay, and do I need 3 of these too?
Let me see what you're talking about.
I need 3 of the light equal picture. Yes, I would actually.
No. You only need 1 of those because that one is your initializer. And then have now also up in your functions, I'm seeing you have stoplight equals, and then on line 40, it's called just light equals. I would normalize those or standardize that. So if one says stoplight, they should all say stoplight. So change line 40 to stoplight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it initializes as stoplight equals picture. So that means you're having the picture there. Ownership and app. The image starts at stoplightred.gif. Grid at 3.2, align top. Now we look in our functions. So stoplight equals picture. Red is changing to red, which it already is, and it's 3.2 and top. Yellow, stoplight dash yellow, 3.2 top. Okay. Stoplight picture red or image green. Why is it all uppercase? Is the actual file called dash green all uppercase? That would have given you a library error. Okay, 3.2 grid proper. Okay, now I don't see a lot of comments in here, so that's a little bit of an issue to start off with. But I see set lows, set high, set lows. The one difference now, and if you look at my screen, since in your let's talk about, for example, your red function, Ethan one.
Yeah.
Okay. 16 is then set to off, right, to low. 21 is low, and then 12 is high. for one, if you looked at mine, I do a comment there so you can just see what's happening. Now, I also want you to recognize now what happens if you hit red and then you hit your yellow button. What happens when you push the yellow button? What's going to be on line 22? Do you see what it does right there?
It puts oh, I forgot to change that. Whoops.
Well, it's supposed to be high. Well, yeah, that's not. What I'm getting at is the first thing it does on line 22 is turn 16 to high. It does not turn 12 to low until 2 lines later. What that means is, for a split second, you're going to have 2 LEDs on at the same time.
Oh, that's why you put them all at the bottom.
That's why I have all my highs at the bottom. So the very first thing that it does, Soren, I imagine you have all of your buttons lined up at the same grid coordinate.
Whoops.
Yep, because you have your green. I could even see the buttons underneath there based on the size of the word. You have your yellow, red, and green all in the same grid coordinate. So, Ethan 1, what I was getting at was you always want to turn the things off that you want off first and then turn the thing on at the end. That way, if you're at red and you need to turn it to green, you don't end up in a situation where red and green are both on for at the same time for a short period of time. That's why you shut them all off and then turn the one on that you want on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Now,
it would jump around.
Think about that as like driving. If you're telling the robot to drive forward and then you tell it to turn left, but you tell it to turn left after you tell it to turn right, and then you go forward at the same time, all kinds of crazy stuff can happen, right?
Yeah.
So you want to like stop first and then do the other thing. Does that make sense?
Line 35. Yeah.
All right, now you're troubleshooting. All right, Soren.
I think I got it.
You need to fix your grid layout. Fix your grid layout.
Yeah, I did 1-1, 1-3, and 1-5.
Okay.
I forgot to put in the picture changing stuff for the
color. Score color. Do I have to call that?
Let's see. It says set light underscore color. That is your button. Set color is not defined. Okay, let's look at what you got going on here. Okay, here's your problem. Ethan 1, I'm looking at your code. I know what your problem is, but I don't want to tell you. Okay?
Yes.
I want you to think about what changed between Stoplight 1 and Stoplight 2. And let's focus on your buttons. Okay? Look at your debugger. First of all, I want you to recognize what your debugger says at the very end. It says name error, name set color is not defined. That means that function of set color is not defined. Why might your debugger be telling you that?
I had a thought, and that's because I'm not initializing it up top. So, no?
That's wrong.
Okay.
Can you tell me what functions you have in your program, sir?
Set color yellow, and set color green.
Can you say that again?
Set colored.
That's set color red, right? Set color red.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one?
Set color yellow.
And what's the other one?
Set color green.
Go back to your debugger. What's the last line say?
I think it was set thing not defined. Set color is not defined.
Okay. Do you have a function of set color? You did on Stoplight 1. What's calling function step color? Set color.
I thought it was the push buttons, but
That's correct. Your push button is calling function set color. Where is function set color?
deleted in the holy deletedness.
Correct. It was supposed to be deleted. Now don't add it. What is the button supposed to be doing?
I think I've pieced this together.
First of all, your button is supposed to be calling a function, right?
Yeah, I pieced it together.
Oh.
It's not underscore color.
Nope, not that part. That's interesting method, Soren.
Oh, whoa, that's what I did.
Ethan?
I forgot to set up the GPI.
Ethan 1.
Yes.
Do you remember the button arguments? Can you tell me what those arguments are doing in that push button?
It's kinda I know it's initializing different parts, so this would be an argument.
Yep.
This is an argument.
All of those and there are arguments, yep. That's an argument.
That's argument. Then
Yes. Now what is the command argument doing?
it sets color to the text of red.
No.
So underscore.
Nope. What does command equals do?
Command equals set.
Set underscore color. Do you see that? Do you remember what we talked about? The command equals is the command that's executed upon push button push. Okay? When you push that button, it calls that function.
That's not the proper function call.
That is not the proper function. Exactly. I got you there. So, what function is supposed to be called when you push the red button? There you go. Oh, you put a red in there. Now, yellow. I'm so proud. What happens when you push the red button or the green button?
Please work, please work,
The
please
green
work.
button calls green. There you go, Migalo. All right, you tracking? Command is what's actually executed when you push that button. Okay? Did you transfer it over?
Yep.
Whoa, look at that fancy stuff going on there.
Does it turn? I should change my thing.
Look at
so I
the
can-
camera. Okay, when you push your red button, does the red turn red?
Let's see if the red does turn red.
Mhm.
Yep, red's turning red. Is yellow turning
Red button.
You push your yellow button, and you push the green button. Did you push your green button?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Well, look at that snazziness. Oh,
Yeah!
Soren's doing something too. Soren's got a red.
Yeah!
Soren's got a yellow. Soren's got a green. Oh my Lanta banana faces.
Now close it. And they all
And you guys closed it, and they all turned off.
Mine took a little while to turn off. That was weird.
Okay, I gotta go. I got a lot of sleeping to do.
You don't have sleeping to do. You have push-ups.
I have.
All right. I think we are good to go, guys.
Okay.
Yes.
I will see you on Thursday.
Okay. Homework.
Okay.
You stay on a little
Good.
bit longer. I need to talk with you about programming for robotics.
Me or Ethan?
Ethan.
Well, you guys talk on Google Hangouts then, because I'm going to close the meet.
Okay.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.